Podcast Network Asia.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed.
I said give me a hell yeah!
Hey, this is Veda Zane.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Talent is not sexually transmitted.
You need to go back to the drawing board because your game absolutely sucks!
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I'm Lewis Howley. I'm Sam Spoker. We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the star, the NXT UK champion, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stancy, Romoran, Chino Liao, Emil ASH, all together with a very special guest. We're going to talk to her and get updates on her story in a bit. All the way from Ice Ribbon in Japan, our very own Yappy joins us here in the PNA studios. That's right.
Our first video guest.
Oo nga. Our first guest in living color, especially in the pandemic era. Ngayon, nasa PNA studios na tayo. Something to celebrate for sure. But before we get to the fun stuff, let's get some housekeeping rules out of the way. Let's get to Emil ASH so he'll tell you about how you can be part of our growing Wrestling Podcast patron community.
All right, so you can experience the whole Wrestling Podcast experience by subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/Wrestling Podcast, where you can subscribe for as low as $5, or in our local currency, it's around 275 pesos. So you could get the experience of being a patron. Of course, we have the Discord community where we talk about anything and everything under the sun. Of course, we talk about wrestling, but we also talk about fashion, memes, sports, food. And we also have the review content of the weekly wrestling shows like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and some local wrestling events as well. And of course, we got the pasabays, which we just had a couple of weeks ago for WrestleMania.
It's actually on the way. Yung WrestleMania pasabay natin,
right.
I can confirm it's on the way to my address. So our patrons will get their goodies very, very soon.
So if you want to join on the next one and you want to get your authentic WWE, AW, or any other wrestling merch, you could get it through us. And by subscribing to our Patreon, you're supporting everything that we do here on the podcast. So please subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Wrestling Podcast. Again, you can subscribe for as low as $5, or in the local currency, it's around 275 pesos.
Good job, Emil ASH, for executing our plug. Siyempre na-pressure kasi may guest, di ba?
Yes, so kabado ako eh.
All right, let's officially welcome Yappy to the studios. Yappy, thank you so much for making time for us this afternoon.
I know, thanks for having me again.
Yes.
In person
Round
this time.
2, yes.
The first time
Love it.
was on Zoom during the pandemic season. So we're more than happy to welcome you here sa PNA.
Yeah, I guess to start things off, what brings you back to the Philippines? Because the last time we saw you in person was, I believe, backstage at a PWR show in like 2019. Like that's where we first saw you, diba?
That was November 2019, I think. Yeah, as in I got off the plane and I drove straight to Power Mac to see the show. Kasi parang I came in late na eh.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to meet the local wrestlers. And then this time, actually, kind of a sad reason because my mom had an operation. And it's a brain tumor. So I went home just so I can, take shifts with my siblings taking care of her. And I decided to stay for a month because I haven't seen my parents since 2019.
We're really sorry to hear na under those circumstances yung pagbalik mo sa Pinas. So we hope that everything's sort of manageable over on your end. But a month here, we found out you got booked for MWF, you got booked for FPW, you're doing all of these things. How do you just juggle all of these things?
Well, it's kind of like not much different from my schedule in Japan. Because in Japan, I usually fight 1 to 3 matches a week. And, so it's like, okay, so I guess I just do the same thing here. So, train on this day, doing this day. Okay, at least I'm doing it, I'm going home to my parents' house. So I still get to spend time with them naman.
Training-wise, you said you do 1 to 3 matches a week. And here, you're doing 1 match per week. So does your training get affected while you're out here? Like, do you have to change anything? Kasi wala ka naman access to a ring here or a dojo.
Yeah, well, I took a 1-month gym membership. Nakiusap kami na pwede 1 month lang, walang registration fee. Yeah, although I think my biggest challenge is like my parents are constantly feeding me.
And Filipino food, diba? Very unhealthy, notoriously.
Tapos nasa couch ako na parang, ay, sa legs gusto ko ng Coke. Tapos sinabi ko pa lang na, may Coke na sa tabi ko, dala na ng maid. Thank you, Sige. Talaga, my
walang
God.
maid sa Japan, diba?
Wala akong ginawa kundi gumulong. So...
Yeah, and I see your posts on Facebook how you're always out and about on a bike, and then you get here, and it's, for all of us, generally more sedentary.
Pretty much, yeah. So I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if I stayed in the Philippines, could I have been a wrestler? Like, could I actually become a wrestler in the Philippines, considering I do nothing but roll around on the couch all day? My gosh.
I wouldn't sell you that short naman, but going back to getting these bookings for the local promotions, how easy is that to clear with the Ice Ribbon folks?
Well, like they contacted me, they gave me the date. And then I asked the president, just, hey, they're asking to book me on this day. It's like, sure, okay. So but he gave me conditions and like, what the booking should be like how I should be booked. And then I gave them the message and they gave me the card and then I cleared with the president. Done within like span of 2 days, no problem. Because, I mean, we're not a huge company naman.
Right.
Like the office employees were like 20, less than 20. So yeah, very easy to communicate.
I mean, you guys have office employees, which says so much more about the state of the local wrestling scene, where we all pull double shifts whenever we're needed. So,
I mean, we do pull double shifts because I'm a wrestler and I'm also in charge of the Ice Urban International merch store. So, wearing 2 hats.
All right, I have a question though. You came here because your mom had to have an operation, but did you come here also with the intention of getting booked, or was that something that just happened because people found out you were coming back?
That just happened. As in, I posted on Facebook, now I'm gonna be home from here to here, yay! And then like 2 hours later, hey Yappy, heard you're gonna be home. We have a show on this day. So, okay, magtatrabaho pala ako. Sige.
Medyo na-guilty ako kasi part nag-invite din tayo for Yappy to be on the podcast.
No, ang alam ko is what I first heard was Yappy was coming home and then Yappy was you were just gonna come watch a show and then
Yeah. Yeah, I said, I want to connect with the local community. Tapos nag-reserve na ako ng tickets for both shows. Tapos, mag-work pala ako. Sige.
I hope they refunded you for the tickets at least.
I haven't paid pa naman.
Yeah, reserve pa naman
Yeah, because like you're literally one of the girls and one of the boys now. Diba? So like,
dapat manunood ka lang di ba? Sasabihin ka na bigla.
Hindi naman ako manunood ako libre.
Yeah. No. Of course not. When we last had you on the pod, you were about 1 or 2 years after your debut, diba? So what's changed since then in the couple of years since that last podcast appearance in terms of your career?
Well, actually, like Ice Ribbon went through a whole reshuffling like a year or so ago. We lost a huge chunk of our upper card. So suddenly, from a kohai, I was rocketed into the position of senpai.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, I'm not ready. So now I'm like helping train the younger girls. And then, after matches, they ask for feedback. And I'm like, okay, ano ba? No bullshitting. Like, come on, real feedback. So, yung ganon, suddenly, like, all these responsibilities onto me. And ganon. And of course, like, before usually opener ako, which is not bad because I think openers are fun.
Yeah, you have to end quick.
Yeah, low pressure, but lots of fun, lots of kenko-yan. Because, my personality is not really that serious.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, nagmi-mid-card na ako. And then, oh my gosh. Or sometimes, main event. Like, no. But yeah, so, sige lang.
How do you deal with that pressure? Kasi, for a lot of us who've experienced performing, nakaka-build ng anxiety, diba? Knowing na you're gonna be the last match or late in the card, hindi ka pa kumakain, diba? And then you feel the butterflies in your tummy. So, paano mo na ma-manage yung anxiety?
Well, the thing is, you just get used to it. Kasi andun ka na And also, I think in joshi wrestling, the wrestlers do a lot more background work than locally because, first of all, we have to build the ring. And then we build the ring ourselves. We do the setup. We do the venue setup. And then before that, quick lang na run through quick. And then, merc stand. And then after merc stand, if it's not your match, you second. So, parang you barely have time to really, like, get nervous. Parang siguro you only have like 5 minutes na, okay, yan na. But, everyone's there and you just, ito na eh.
Yeah, that's actually not bad.
No, kasi I understand where she's coming from. Like, from I don't bump or anything in the ring, but from a stand-up comedy standpoint, like I can totally get the increase in responsibility, diba? So, ikaw, because you have all these new people asking for feedback and you have extra responsibilities, how do you like handle all of that? Does it get like overwhelming for you?
Well, the truth is, like, the imposter syndrome is strong. Because actually, I don't know, up until now, I still feel like they're the Joshi wrestlers and nakikisali lang ako. I'm the tourist. Pero,
Is it
alam mo-
because you're not Japanese?
No, it's just because, like, I never really thought I'd actually become a wrestler full time as my day job.
Yeah.
And sometimes it still hasn't sunk in, like, in the middle of the show, and I'm like, I'm a wrestler.
Uh-huh.
you know?
Funny, like in terms of taxes, sa occupation, you actually put pro wrestler.
Yes.
Damn.
Wow.
Yes, it's
That's-
occupation pro wrestler and and even like my health insurance occupation pro
That's,
wrestler.
Sana all.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Because like, it has to be, because we have, of course, like pro wrestlers, we have hospitalization
Yes.
insurance, so naka ano yun.
So like legally sa government ng Japan, pro wrestler talaga yung nakalagay sa'yo.
Yeah, because like last year I got injured in a match and I damaged my spine. And I was out of work for 6 months.
Yeah.
So the government considered that a work-related accident and paid me 6
wow.
months' salary.
Damn.
Wow.
I mean, I
sana-
hate that happened to you, but
Pero-
also like the assistance from the government is not a bad thing.
So like, does your insurance, do your premiums go up? Pag ganon, mas mahirap ka bang i-insure?
Grown up talk.
No, because the way health insurance works in Japan, it's salary bracket.
Okay.
So there's no like keeping you out of insurance because you
No.
have a high risk
Yeah.
day
No.
job. Okay.
No, actually, because you're high risk, that's why you have to have
Ooh,
insurance.
Oh.
wow, sana all.
Sana all may respeto, diba?
Kasi 2 beses na ako na hospital eh.
Right. So how hard was that bouncing back from injury, especially since you started your career pretty late, but in your late 30s. So, your body probably isn't healing as fast as it used
Wait,
to.
I actually want to get to talking about the injury itself because I was following you. I'm following you for a while now. We're friends on Facebook for a while, and I was I saw your posts. They couldn't figure out what it was initially, right? And then you had it took a while for them to figure out what was really wrong with you. So can you talk about all of that? Because I think one day na lang you stopped posting about it, and then I figured that it got all better. So what happened there?
Because it was a diving guillotine from the top rope.
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah, the truth is, I had a senpai before. She used to do that, a diving guillotine, because she was trying to copy Bull Nakano. And I was like, so why have you stopped doing the diving guillotine? She's like, it damages your neck. I'm like, ako naman parang layo ng legs sa spine, hindi naman eh. So parang one match, I just decided off the fly, I'll do a diving guillotine. So I did, boom! And then after the match, yung senpai ko, Yappy, I just saw you did a diving guillotine today. Never do that again. I'm like, why? Because a lot of wrestlers have injured themselves. I'm fine. It's like, okay, little neck pain, so it's true. And then the next day, we had a match at Korakuen Hall. And then I did the match just fine. And then that afternoon, medyo sumasakit-sakit na about 2 p.m. By 6 p.m., we had to call an ambulance for Mina.
Wow.
Yeah, so slow burn and suddenly I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of bed. And then for 2 weeks, they couldn't figure out because the pain started the day after the match. So I didn't connect it na it was the diving guillotine that did it. And then finally, 5 doctors later, through an MRI, it was in a weird spot that there was like a herniated disc in my L4, L5 section.
Okay.
Yes.
So like that's serious sport injury.
Wrestling
injury
is
stuff.
real. Don't try it at home.
There's
No,
a
legit,
reason they
legit,
have
it's real.
those disclaimers, diba? Pero in terms of, because I've heard, and maybe you can attest to this, I've heard from other expats based in Japan na yung medical system ng Japan isn't really in favor of like mga expats. Did you feel that way when you were being treated in Japan?
No naman, but maybe because I speak Japanese. Like, do they have trouble because it's a language problem?
Well, they puti sila if that helps, but they also are fluent in Japanese.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I personally, I'm not naman saying that their experiences are invalid, but personally, I've always been okay. Like, I've always been treated the same as everybody. Although Ice Ribbon Dojo is located in Saitama, and Saitama is very immigrant friendly. I'm not even gonna say expat. I'm gonna say immigrant friendly. Like when you move into, like say when you move into Kawaguchi, which is a town in a city in Saitama, they give you this booklet on how to live in the city, and it's in like there's Tagalog there. There's Tagalog,
Wow.
English, Thai. Iranian. Yeah, so baka maybe that's the
Yeah,
reason.
maybe. Yeah.
Going back to the injury and your recovery, what was that process like for you?
Well, I was in bed for at least 4 months. Like I couldn't get out of bed at all. So nakahiga. And then whenever I had to go to the hospital, a friend, like my tag partner, would send her friend, and he would like really take me to. I couldn't even. I couldn't sit. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't stand up. So talagang all the way to the hospital. I'm like, ang sakit, and then I'm going to yung mga nurse na iiyak na sa akin because I'm like, it hurts. And then it's like, injections and painkillers. And finally, after like 4 months, around October, I can finally like sit up. And parang, ayan na, sige na, Eye of the Tiger music na. So I started, into it, started with walking, and then
Yung
started with
comeback
slow
spot,
jogging.
yeah.
Yun na. And then I told I told the president, I'm gonna start training for my comeback. So yun, ganun lang. But I really, by like August, I actually thought my career was over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was there any hesitation on their part to bring you back? Like, parang, too soon pa. Maybe we should, take you in very slowly.
Well, kasi to them, it's always up to me how I feel. Like, how feel my... And then, also, I joined training, and then the coach is watching me move. Because, like, I need to get clearance from the coach. Like, can I do the rope work? Can I do the bumps? Can I do everything without wincing? Kasi titingnan niya rin face, bump ako, tumanon ba ako, or what, Parang, okay naman, she moves in. Pero like in the first, I was feeling okay around October, November. I actually didn't have my comeback until end of January. So there's actually still some time in between. I was just training in the ring.
So what did that feel like when you made your comeback? Na after injury, kala mo tapos na yung career mo, and then all of a sudden, you're back doing your thing.
Yeah, like actually it's funny because talagang like even the fans were talking on Twitter na parang I look like a different wrestler. Na parang, oh my God, guys, I'm back. So talagang like people have said na for some reason between the time that I left and the time I came back, I actually improved. So yun, fired up to prove myself.
May gigil kasi, di ba?
Yeah.
Were there any jitters in your first match, the first match after the injury? Were there any jitters? No, like taking your first bump. Were there any nerves? Because coming off of an injury that severe, syempre, kung ako yun, matatakot ako if like my first match coming back after a spine like that. So what did it feel like?
Well, I was training in the dojo since October. So that's like October, November, December, and then January. So it was 4 months of doing bumps in the dojo, doing my moves, doing my trap, practicing my finishers, and I was going to the gym. So medyo alam ko, ready na yung body ko. Ano na lang, parang, am I ready to be in front of the audience? Yun na lang psychological na lang.
I mean, if that's the last hurdle, diba, then I guess physically you must be in a better spot. Are you still doing commentary in English for Ice Ribbon?
These days I haven't been because like I think they're like trying to re-strategize how we manage our content. But then the president did tell me that they do eventually want me back on commentary, and they want to start putting English commentary on the DVDs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because before when I was doing commentary, I was doing it also as a wrestler. So I'm wrestling and then I run back from the ring and I go into the commentary.
Ano, hinihingal ka habang nagko-commentary?
I lost pa my batch. Bugbog sarado ako. Tapos comment ako. Tapos, okay. Hi. Sige no, si Aiwa. Dari de shoka. Tapos, sakit. Sell. Parang gano'n. So, or yung, nagko-commentary ko and the next match is mine. So I couldn't run through the match in my head anymore.
Right.
So gano'n. So, okay, bahala na. And I only have like 2 minutes between going back to the curtain, seeing my opponent. Okay na.
Oh, wow. Ganun ka tight yung schedule talaga.
So talagang, actually for a few shows, parang medyo nag-suffer yung performance ko. So the coach went to the president. Is she a wrestler or is she on commentary? Choose one. Yun na lang.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kasi nga, kung napaka-tight ng running back and forth,
I mean, she
your
only had
performance
2
will suffer.
Diba? She only had 2 minutes between matches. So.
And that's not easy.
Yeah.
Doing one is not easy. What more both?
Diba? Exactly.
Yeah, so yun. So sa DVD na lang.
I saw in some of your posts that you've incorporated your being Filipina more into your performances. Like sometimes you'd be talking trash in Filipino. How do people respond to that? And what do you say?
The Japanese audience actually really love it. Talagang natatawa sila. For some reason, I'm not trying to be funny naman. Pero parang, I think that yung Filipinos naman, the Filipinos do follow me on Twitter, and I post the clips. Ang reaction na, parang yung nagagalit na tita na kapitbahay. Like, ano ba yung sinabi ko once? Yung parang, ano, kala mo sino? Ganda-ganda mo, kala mo kasi sino ka? Hindi naman matanda ko naman. Yung mga ganon. So,
I remember that clip very well. Yeah.
so parang galit na tita.
But like when you get that, do people cheer? Do they boo? Like what response do you want to elicit?
You just hear the audience laugh. Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. Like parang Ice River naman is parang we do have a lot of comedic elements in our matches. Kasi it's supposed to be light. Our motto is be happy with pro wrestling. So, everyone's supposed to leave the shows like happy and lighthearted. So, ganun naman. Comedy.
Sana all.
Hindi kami ganun ka-heavy.
Right. Do Pinoys actually watch the shows live, and do you get recognized by them? Na, Pinoy ka rin pala, and like, is there a Filipino reunion of sorts at these shows?
I've never seen a Filipino in the show.
Oh, we gotta change that.
I think maybe once.
Punta Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Once, yung kaibigan ko lang. Yun lang. Yung kaibigan yung kabanda ng brother ko. Yun lang. Pumunta ng Japan. Uy, Ate Pia!
I also remember seeing on your Facebook that you went to Poveda. So I've got to ask, since you're, Chino, yourself, me, we're part of the EDSOR group of schools, right? May reaction ba from the Poveda community when they found out that you're wrestling over in Japan?
I don't know, because like I'm Facebook friends with some of my old classmates. Siguro yung mga kasi parang magpo-post lang ako and then yung surprise react sa Facebook. Ganun lang naman.
Pero nobody's posted like sa alumni association na, we have a batchmate na nag-wrestling.
I think maybe nung magre-reunion sana, I think some people have mentioned it. Oh my God! So, kasi we were supposed to have a reunion. Oh my God! I can't wait for my kids to meet a real wrestler.
So, did you actually get to see them since you've come home?
No, because like the pandemic, bulldozed over our reunion.
Yeah.
And then yung core barkada ko, wala na sa Pilipinas. Natira na lang si Mitch Dulce.
Right.
Wow.
Kaming dalawa na lang. So, tara, Yappy, let's go ice skating in Mega Mall tayong dalawa na.
So, since you've come back and you're slowly getting to meet the local wrestling scene, what's your impression of how things are run here? Considering that we're recording this before you've actually entered the locker rooms.
Yun nga. So, impressions pa lang, no?
Yeah.
I mean, I've met a few. Actually, yung kakailang sa akin, it's like, they have their ring names, but then outside the ring, they refer to each other by their actual names.
Is that not how it is in Japan?
In Japan, I don't even know the real names of a lot of wrestlers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's parang syempre, yung co-highs ko, I met them before they became wrestlers, so I know what their real names are. But my co-highs don't know what my real name is. And then I don't know the real name of my senpais.
Okay.
So it's like once you have your ring name, that's what everyone calls you in and out of the ring.
Is it like a violation to like call someone by their real name?
Because Japanese people are very private. And then if you get used to calling them by a certain name, you might accidentally call them that in front of the fans. And they don't want the fans to know what their real names are.
Right. What's the pinaka hard and fast rule that you guys have to follow in Japanese wrestling na parang for someone outside might be kind of unusual?
I actually can't mention it online. It's an industry secret.
Okay.
Papasensor namin.
Since you guys are wrestlers, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Actually, I told you on chat.
Yes. Okay. Alam ko na.
Yeah,
All right. Hey, we're not gonna mention that in the interest of protecting Yappy.
Yeah.
That's
Kahit
the
i-beep
hardest
natin.
rule. Yeah, even doon tayo yung may sinulat ko na yun. Yung
Yes.
may nasa notebook ko. And then my notebook was open and my senpai saw me. Close that notebook. There are non-wrestlers here.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So, with regards to that, how strict are they in treating professional wrestling like a martial art there? Like, do they have the hierarchy in belts? Meron bang specific training? Is that?
Well, I mean, every promotion will have its own set of belts. And then there's like the singles belt is usually the highest ranking belt, followed by the tag belt. And then sometimes they have belts in different categories. Like Ice Ribbon has the So like, we have the Ice Cross Infinity belt, which is the singles, and then we have the tag belt, which actually Hikaru Shida brought it with her in AEW.
Yeah.
And then we have the triangle ribbon belt, which is the 3-way belt. And then we had an ice cross. We had a Fantast Ice belt, which is like anything goes belt, which was usually used for death matches. But we don't do death matches these days, so that belt is sleeping.
Is that something you'd like to do, like a death match?
I did want to do death matches. Although, parang when we were doing death matches for my senpais, I realized what a toll it took on the other wrestlers who were not doing death matches. Because like parang, example, the death match is like the 4th match in the card. So after their match, we have to clean up the ring. So it takes like 30 minutes and everyone has to go in cleaning up the ring to make sure na walang natitirang glass shards for the next match. And then parang we have to like maglagay kami ng trail of, we have to tape up with plastic the path going to the dressing room kasi magdudugo sila, magagalit yung venue.
Yeah.
So parang sobrang extra work for everyone around you. Mag-deathmatch ka, magkakalat ka, magdudugo, balik ka sa dressing room. But everyone around you is inconvenienced. And parang kaya naman sa kanilang lahat. And especially now, we have a lot of young girls. We have a 13-year-old.
Oh, wow.
She debuted when she was 12. Wow. Yung ganon. And we have a lot of green girls. Our roster is very green right now, except for like, parang mga four senpais.
How does that work sa Japan na, at 12 or 13, you can actually start training or even debut?
You have to be at least middle school age to start training. And you have to have parental consent. And, parental consent. And then as long as you intend to finish middle school, because middle school is mandatory education, after that it's fine. So one of our wrestlers before, she finished middle school in Kyushu, then she flew to Tokyo, to Saitama, to train with us to become a wrestler full-time. She didn't go to high school anymore. Yes. So you might be familiar with her if you watch like joshi wrestling, si Suzu Suzuki. Yeah, so yon.
Damn.
She didn't go to high school anymore.
Parang sa basketball, diba? You go pro right away.
Straight from high school.
Not even
insane.
high school, straight from junior high school.
Mas malala.
Mga European players.
Oh, that's weird. It's weird to us, but like, ganun yung kalakaran.
Of course, consider their children.
Right.
Malalambot pa yung buto nila.
Yeah.
So, we're not supposed to use dangerous or flashy moves on them. Yun lang yung rule.
So, no diving guillotines, for sure.
Pwede yun, kaya niya matake yung diving. Or I never do my Bronco Buster on her. Yun. It's not even a finisher, pero parang they're like, never do the Bronco Buster.
On the child.
Yeah, on the child. Parang wait until she, finishes puberty. Medyo, develop na yung katawan.
Magta-trending yun pag nag-Bronco Buster ka sa bata.
Lagot tayo. Mababantay bata tayo.
The worst way possible. Yeah.
I remember, Yappy, the last time you were on the pod, we talked about your tattoos and how you had to hide them. And then a few months ago, you posted on Facebook na sabi nung senpai, pwede na, labas mo na. So what was that like?
Ay, nako, finally. Because like, parang Japan is still a very, they're still a little conservative in some parts and they still don't like tattoos. Actually, kung yung gym ko, if they find out that I have tattoos, they're gonna revoke my membership. And I serve then, very very Japanese. So parang they didn't allow me. Pero kasi nga, we lost the top carders and parang there was a kind of shake up in the company. People were leaving. And then parang I had a lot of grievances with the company. And then parang I was thinking na should I leave now or what? And then I sat down the president. I told him all of my problems. Like, okay, these are my problems with how this company is run. And so now the president like really wants to keep his wrestlers happy and he's listening to the wrestlers. So I'm like, can I show my tattoos now? Now that I have this leverage. Okay na. Wala namang problema eh. And the thing is like all through my entire career, so 3 years in career ko, like my costume keeps slipping and my tattoos keep showing up. And you see on Twitter, ang daming pictures on Twitter where you can see my tattoos. Like all the fans know about my tattoos. So I told him, what's the point in hiding it?
And all the other gaijin wrestlers have tattoos anyway, diba?
But
or they do
not
have
roster.
tattoos. Ah, okay.
Yun eh.
Visiting like
they're guests.
Yeah.
They're not rosters.
Okay, that's
I'm treated very differently from a gaijin wrestler. Very differently.
Okay, so like parang you're somewhere between local and gaijin in that sense.
I get the best and the worst of both worlds.
Right.
Can you get into that? Like, what do you mean by the best and the worst?
Okay, so for example, we had this wrestler. She came to Ice Ribbon, and she was from WUW. And then now she went to another promotion.
Yeah.
But anyway, when she was with us, okay, one example. I'm late for 30 seconds. Galit na galit yung senpai ko. And then kami naman, shugo. We're gathering na.
Mhm.
And she's nowhere to be found. And we spent 10 minutes looking for her. And then finally we find her. There you are. We had meeting now, meeting time. And wow, walang yun lang yun na. Yun na ako, 30 seconds, pinagalitan niyo ako, mga walang iya kayo. Yung gano'n, and parang she gets away with shit. Hindi siya naglilinis ng bahay. I mean, I don't wanna badmouth her naman. Pero yun, she didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that she's doing it on purpose, but she didn't know what we're supposed to do as roster members. And things I would get yelled at for, okay lang yan, dito lang yan. You know, so, yun, ganon.
But with that, do you get benefits from it as well? Being treated like one of the locals?
What are the benefits? I said best, no?
Yeah. You did say the best.
Ano yung best?
Sa'yo nang galing yun.
Yeah. Kasi reverse yun, diba?
The local fans talk to me more. Di sila natatakot.
yeah.
Because, you know, also because like I kind of look Japanese.
Yeah.
So they feel a bit more comfortable talking to me. A lot of them are a bit shy to talk to the foreigners.
Mhm.
Maybe ganon. Yun.
I noticed kanina na you were having a hard time na with the code switching. So is that something that you've had to adjust to because of all the time you've spent in Japan?
A little bit, yeah. Kasi parang, you know, I don't, like every day in, day out, I only speak Japanese. The only time I speak English is when I'm doing my live stream or Twitter or whatever. But like speaking mismo, it's like Japanese every day. So I'm forgetting terms now, like what's intai in English again? What's, shugo in English again? Or even like wrestling terms. A lot of wrestling terms, I don't know what the English terms are.
Wow.
So like parang I'm gonna, sige, like hando to the rope, charge to the rope, or manji gatame. So manji gatame,
Octopus
it's
hold.
like swastika hold. No, swastika doesn't sound good in English. So octopus hold, yung ganon. So I don't know a lot of like terms in English. So it's a bit of an adjustment.
Yeah, that should be interesting when you're working with someone who primarily speaks English naman, diba?
Yun nga talagang, and then even like some terms I just recently found out that some terms are even different, like comeback and fire and heat. They mean different in Japanese. So like parang comeback recently it was explained to me in English, comeback is parang you're winning na and then you do more? Is that what it is?
In a way, yes, but I also see where it doesn't happen in Puro.
Okay, so in Japanese, comeback means kunya nabubugbog ka na, and then finally you do something to reverse the situation and you're on top.
Yeah.
That's the comeback in Japanese. Yung ganon. And also, in English, the suplex, in Japanese, that's called the brain buster.
Yes.
Mhm, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And in Japanese, a suplex is an arm drag.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
That part I didn't know. So that's a today I learned moment for a lot of us. Interesting.
Interesting, yeah. Kasi diba, like, yung suplex, madami siyang variations, diba? There's like a belly to belly, your Germans. And apparently, it's not that in Japanese. So parang...
They mostly do vertical suplexes.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But everything is, kahit yung regular, it's called a brain buster. Either they call it a brain buster or a German.
Interesting.
You mentioned earlier, Yappy, na being a pro wrestler is your full-time job na. So do you still get to do, the stuff that you used to do before this became the norm?
Actually, now that my career has passed 3 years, I now have more time to myself. Because in Japan, if your career is under 3 years, you're considered a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So a rookie is 3 years. And then in Ice Ribbon, if you're a rookie, you're expected to train at least 8 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
At least. So twice a week yon. But better if 3-4 times a week. And then after you pass 3 years, it's up to your discretion. So ako na parang, okay, I don't want to train today. I just want to draw fan art. I'll just stay home. Ganon.
So you're able to do more of the streaming and the art stuff na rin.
Yes.
At this point in your career, I know na yun nga, but it's only been what 5-6 years. But with the way that you have to recover from injuries, how much longer do you see yourself going at this pace?
I don't know because when I started, I thought I would only last 3 years, but now I'm entering my 4th year. So okay lang. And ang tinitingnan ko si Jaguar Yokota, and she's what 62 now, and she's still going. So if Jaguar Yokota can go until 62, maybe I can go until 62. And Aja Kong is 53.
Yes.
So pwede pa. If they're still going, maybe I can still go.
What's on your bucket list career-wise?
Career-wise, one death match. Just one.
Okay.
And then maybe one hardcore match. And then
Wait, what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference?
Hardcore doesn't bleed.
I
Hardcore
didn't know
has
that.
weapons but they don't bleed.
Okay.
Deathmatch bleeds.
Right. So pag deathmatch, nakaputi ka dapat.
Pwede.
Para kitang-kita.
Or si Rina Yamashita, naka-bikini top lang eh.
yung death matches ba sa Japan, it's like yung may mga tubes and glasses.
Light tubes.
Like the Atsushi Onita stuff.
Yeah,
Light tubes,
okay.
barbed
Right?
wire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thumbtacks. Yun.
FMW style.
Or chestnut husks.
Wow.
Anything you can think of na makasakit. And one of my senpais, Lego.
Okay, yeah.
That's
been done here.
Here.
Really?
Yes,
Yun.
yes.
Ang pinaka-wild yung chestnut husks. Have you ever seen a chestnut
No,
husk?
I have not.
No.
It's talagang ang haba na needle, ganito kahaba yung needle.
Oh.
And it's hard. So
Chestnut, di ba kastanyas?
Kastanyas.
Yung husk, yung pinaglagyan
Okay.
mukha siyang porcupine.
Okay.
So paano mo siya gagamitin in the context of a match?
Nasa bucket, tas kalat mo
It's
sa
like,
ring.
it's like Legos.
And then
the
you
Legos.
bump on it.
Yeah, okay.
And then parang ako lang kasi Big Japan Pro Wrestling, they do a lot of death matches, and during New Year we share the ring.
Yeah.
So they do the show, and then after we do the show the next day, minsan may naiiwan na death match element sa ilalim ng ring. And nagko-crawl ako to get something to aray!
It's legit.
Chestnut husk dito!
Oh.
Tapos nagdudugo talaga yung kamay ko. Tapos suddenly, after I scream, yung senpai ko, everyone be careful.
Matry nga, bili tayo sa Binondo.
So aside from the death match and the hardcore match, what else do you want to accomplish
I want
before
to
you hang it
wrestle
up?
more men. Because,
Okay.
Joshi Pro Wrest is all girls.
Yeah.
And I've only wrestled a man once or twice. I want to do that more regularly.
You guys do one next week.
Yeah. That will be my second or third match with a male.
Mhm.
Yon. And then, what else? More matches outside Japan. Because I really like the exposure. Na
Yeah.
parang, parang all I know is Joshi wrestling. All I know is Japanese wrestling. So parang I want to see how they do it, in other places.
How about opponents on your bucket list?
Opponents! Sana si Jaguar Yokota sana, kaso biglang nag-COVID eh. Talaga, kasi yun nga, siya yung ano ko na as long as she wrestles at this age, I'm gonna try to wrestle to that age.
Right.
So, and she was a wrestler before I was born, and I'm 43.
Yeah.
So, parang I wanna wrestle her. And I heard she hits hard. So, I wanna see how it feels to fight her. And then, sino pa? Iba nag-retire na eh.
On the note of COVID, has Ice Ribbon gone back to yung pre-pandemic type of like people can cheer or like medyo maskless na?
Just recently, still masks are still required. Korakuen Hall has just recently allowed cheering and streamers.
Yes.
But the other venues have actually allowed streaming and streamers and cheering like last year pa. So ano na lang, yung social distance na lang na we don't fill the venue to capacity. But parang actually, even with COVID, parang aside from the no cheering and parang we were still running wrestling shows, so it didn't feel that different for me.
Speaking of the COVID, how different was it when it was during that time where people can cheer? Like, how was it different from before the pandemic? Like in the way that the wrestlers wrestled during that. I'm very interested to hearing about that kasi yun na nga, even as a viewer for me, it felt different when, watching Japanese wrestling, the people can cheer, they can only clap. So how different was it from a wrestler's perspective?
I think the difference is bigger for people in the West and in the Philippines because maiingay talagang audience nyo to begin with. Japanese audience is like much quieter in comparison.
Yeah.
That's why we have seconds. You know, parang I think I noticed na sa inyo walang seconds, di ba?
Yeah.
Na parang if you're not fighting, you have to be better. Ike, because the audience isn't making that noise.
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
have to make that noise for them.
Right.
So parang nabawasan. I mean, there are still people who would cheer. Nabawasan lang ng konti. Ganon. Pero what we miss were the streamers.
Last few questions here on our end. Stables and factions are big in Japan, diba? Are you part of one?
I am part of one. It's not a serious stable because also like I had a tag partner na that was never acknowledged. Like we were best friends in Ice Urban, but the management was really paying attention more to the more popular wrestlers na hindi kami pinapansin. So we never got a named team. Pero meron ako Showa Angels because lahat kami were born during the Showa era. So, matatanda.
Low-key way of saying that.
So in parang tita angels. Ganon.
The titas of Joshi.
Yeah.
Parang ganon. Because I'm the youngest in that unit.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
And I'm 43.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the time this episode comes out, you'll have already wrestled one match in the Philippines. So, is there anything that you want to get out of the experience? Since we're recording before both of your bookings here.
Well, I mean, just to see a different way of a different style of like going the flow of the match, and then a different, like the different energy of the audience. I've never been to a non-Japanese audience, and the last time I went to PWR. The good, ang ingay ng audience.
Yes,
Like,
that's right.
Oh my God! So parang I can feel na parang you get so much energy for that. Parang saya. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then, parang the backstage culture, parang hindi strict, hindi yung may ginagawa, tapos darating senpai, drop everything. Ohayou gozaimasu, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, yung ganon. So casual lang. So I'm looking forward to that.
With you being a local here and wrestling 2 matches, nag-invite ka ba ng friends, ng family to come watch?
They invited themselves.
As they should.
Tama lang naman.
Hindi ako sanay na pinapanood ako ng mga kilala ko. So talagang, manonood kayo.
So may extra butterflies ba knowing that they're all gonna be there?
Yeah. Talagang dun ako natakot. Talagang more than anything, dun ako natakot.
What is it like being a draw in the Philippines?
The thing is kasi, iba yung draw na people know you're good and then they come to watch you. Ito par they've never seen me wrestle. Parang,
I mean, a draw is a draw, diba?
Yeah.
Hindi,
That's
pero alam
one
mo
way
yun,
to look at
That's
parang,
asses in seats.
Yappy, joshi, wrestler from Japan, ganyan. And then they watch me, ay, she's mid pala. Shit!
I mean, I'd like to think that maybe that's not gonna be the reaction.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so, yeah. You don't get this far to get a reaction like that.
Tsaka iba pa rin eh. I mean, like, there is still an experience advantage if I may say so as well.
I also think, like, for the fans, it's a matter of pride. Like, you're one of our own, you're one of us, and you made it there.
And you made
Yeah,
it in Japan.
That
diba?
is the marketing hook.
I guess that's one thing. Like one wrestler from PWR before told me, it's like, are you the first like wrestler that grew up in the Philippines
you are.
who wrestled in Korakuen
Yeah,
Hall?
you are.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
That's something right there.
Yeah,
diba?
that's historic.
Yeah, we did say that the last time we recorded with Yappy. She's the first homegrown Filipina to have worked at Korakuen.
Was this something you ever expected, like when you started this wrestling journey?
No, because hobby lang dapat eh. Because I joined because Ice Urban has a wrestling class for beginners twice a week.
Right.
And I was like, I just wanted a cool hobby. So,
Right.
punta ako dun.
And then now you get to wrestle in Korakuen.
I know. Yikes.
But for those of you who missed out on seeing Yappy over the weekend, you can actually catch her next weekend when she's in a 3-way match against JDL and Crystal. Yappy, I'm going to let you plug that match.
Okay, so these are the most tenured wrestlers in the country right now, right? So the first female wrestler in the Philippines, and the Philippines' ace wrestler, is he not? And the first wrestler to reach 100 matches in the Philippines. So there's a lot of pressure. So I gotta step up. So ako naman, katas ng Japan. So,
Grabe naman yun.
But yeah, so parang we all have a lot to prove. So the first female wrestler in the Philippines, the most tenured wrestler in the Philippines, and the only home-born Filipino who is a full-time wrestler in Japan. So we all have something to prove.
Yes.
That's right.
Ro, let the people know how they can get tickets.
Wala nang tickets.
Oh,
They are sold out.
that's
They're
right.
sold
That's
out.
right. Sold out as of last weekend. So they can just catch it on Gank.
I would assume so, yes. You can catch it on Gank, ManilaWrestling.com. It's like $10, around 600 something. You pay via Gcash or something. So yeah, it's not so hard. It's not so hard to watch Yappy, whether it's in person or on the internet.
Yeah. And Yappy, for our fans and listeners who want to see your art or keep in touch with you on social media, where can they find you?
On Instagram, I am Yappy Tori. So parang Yakitori, but with a P.
Mm-hmm.
And on Twitter, I am YAPI Yappy, which is the original spelling of my name.
And how about the Twitch stuff, if they want to catch your streams? Nandito na tayo, lubusin na natin.
Sige, fine. On Twitch, I'm also Yappy Tori. And on YouTube, it's Big Ass Yappy. Because, I don't know if you know my tagline. So, Japanese wrestlers, when they come into the ring, they say your tagline while you're going in. So, I'm Filipino Umaritano, Big Ass. So, I am the Philippine-born Big Ass.
Wow.
Kasi malaki yung puwet ko. So, I use it as a weapon.
Okay.
And also, my sponsor tags are in my butt.
Smart. I love it. Yappy, thank you so much for joining us here on the pod. What a fun time. We hope it was as entertaining for you as it was for us.
Yeah, thank you.
And for those of you who are catching this episode, thank you so much as well. You know where to follow Yappy. You can follow us individually at EML_Meister, at Chino Supersized, at Roiswar, and for me, it is at _Stan C. Thank you so much for always making the Wrestling podcast a part of your diet. Go and follow us on Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating. Facebook and Instagram, it's at Wrestling Podcast. Twitter and TikTok, it is at Wrestling2XPod. On behalf of everyone at the table and Yappy, my name is Stan C, saying stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Bye-bye.
Peace.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.